What's going on, everyone? Welcome to State of the Realms, your weekly broadcast for everything Camelot Unchained. I am your host, Swiper, and today I will be going over the weekly wrap-up for April 19th, 2019. Alright, today's broadcast was shorter than normal because Mark wanted to get back to testing. Testing, you may ask? Earlier this morning, an email was sent out to backers informing them of another test. This test had over 200 trebs, over 1,000 NPCs, and loads of other siege engines. Now, the build was pretty awesome, and some of the beta folks will be invited to this test out this weekend. If you haven't checked your email yet, please make sure to check ASAP, or maybe after this video. Yes, that is me, and yes, I'm a Viking at heart. Alright, so let's move on to the top 10-ish. Today, CU covered about 16 items, so I'd like to go over 5 of my favorite. So let's start with number 1, Work in Progress Support Classes. So if you guys have been following my previous videos, you'll notice that support classes tend to keep popping up. This week, CU did more work fleshing out the core components for support abilities. This includes melodies and harmonies. I'm getting really excited because I love playing support classes when I have a solid group to run with. I'm very interested to see how these characters pan out. Okay, number 2, Work in Progress, Focus Support Items. So this one kind of goes along with number 1, but basically what this represents is support focus items will modify abilities, and these specific support items are wands, scepters, and gauntlets. So again, we're getting more details about support classes. Alright, number 3. Work in Progress UI Ability Builder. So work has been completed on the Ability Builder UI and is sitting with the art team in code review. Now, if you've been following some of my older broadcasts, you'll notice that this one is also recurring. So I think what's going on here is that we're getting this much closer to using this new UI for the Ability Builder. And currently, right now, there's just a dev UI ability builder out there that looks pretty basic and generic. Alright, number 4, UI crafting. So I'm not a huge crafter myself, but I know crafting is going to be a major thing in this game. I mean, crafters and combatants are going to have to work hand in hand. So I figured anytime I get an update on crafting, I'll throw it in here. So this seemed like a minor change, but a big change. But anyway, let me get to it. Changes were made to the crafting UI, and the UI now accepts more ingredients. So specifically what they said was, in the current build, players could only put in certain alloys, like specific ones, and they couldn't use all of them. So it now sounds like they've expanded it. I'm not exactly sure if that means like everything can be used now, but it sounds like they just made it bigger. And further on down in this presentation, Mark did say something about how he was working on the dyeing system, like the coloring system, and that he has something he wanted to talk about, but he wants to wait until it's fully out there, or it's, acceptable, I guess, to present. So please stay tuned. I know there's a lot of crafting questions. A lot of players are asking more crafting things, but it sounds like they have an announcement. I have no idea what it's going to be, but please just hang on tight. I'm sure we're going to hear about it soon. All right, and number 5, animations, player movement, and longbows. So players should start to see a more fluid movement system, or the animations in character movement. Players will also notice that longbow animations were also created for the archer classes. Okay, moving on to the Q&A section. So question number 1, how will doors work? Will we have to open and close the doors, or will we use a teleport method? So yeah, I know this is a simple question, but I figured I'd throw it in there because it's directly related to gameplay. So the answer to this question is they'd like to use an open and close method. They said if they had to fall back to a teleport system, they could, but at the end of the day, it's not terribly important, and they would rather have realism, meaning like the doors opening and closing. All right, question number 2. What is your philosophy on time to kill? All right, let me try and break this question down. So I think what this person was trying to ask was, how long do you want a battle to play out? Say a 1 versus 1. And Mark, he kind of was funny about this, but he was just like, I hate to give this response, but I want the battle to be just right. And he doesn't want somebody to use just one ability and bam, like you're dead. He wants the battle to feel more strategic. And he kind of gave an example as, say, you're fighting somebody and you lost. Like, he wants you to be able to think back to that fight and say, well, if I would have done this, then I know I could have won. And I think that's kind of where the strategic mindset comes in. All right, question number 3. Will the dev team step in to ensure fair play? So I went in 15 different directions with this question. So let me summarize what Mark says, and then I'll kind of throw my 2 cents in. So CU wants this game to be fun in a 1v1v1 situation, or even in small groups like an 8 or 10 man, or whatever the group size is going to be. Mark also wants this game to be friendly towards solo play. We certainly do not want to compromise, though, for just the solo player. And he also states that not all classes are equal in solo play. Example, like playing a healer with nobody on your team. So I think, personally, overall, CU's going to try and make this game fun. But I also think people need to realize that certain classes are kind of better at certain things. So some classes might excel in solo play where others might excel in group play. And I think they just need to take that into account with whatever type of game style they're going to play. All right, question number 4. How do you feel about macros in this game? Macros can certainly serve a purpose in this game. He says he's going to have a discussion with his team about macros. He says that he likes macros, he uses them in other games, but the only time he doesn't like macros is when they're being exploited. So I don't believe there's an official response, a yes or no to this yet, but as soon as I find out, I'll let y'all know. All right, and question number 5. So I might be a little biased towards this question because I was the one that asked it, and I get super giddy when a developer actually answers some of my questions. I don't know what it is, but it just makes me really happy. But anyway, let me get to the question. So I asked, once you feel comfortable with the seige and how it's been working, what do you think you'll work on next? So immediately Mark brought up scenarios and how he would like to set up a proper siege scenario. So it sounds like the siege kind of scenario that we're doing now is more for testing and stress testing. So I think they want to bring in a proper siege test. And once that gets all played out, I believe they want to work on more of the ability systems. So something that I heard what was pretty cool was he said since most of the abilities are in for the core classes for beta 1, we would like to get these abilities tested. So this sounds really freaking awesome because it just makes me feel like they're making so much progress and they're telling us like, hey, like these abilities are done for the core classes. Like this is awesome. This is awesome. So I think what they want to do in the near future is have 1 or 2 scenarios and have all the players, come in and test out the new abilities and make abilities and just go in and just fire these abilities and just have a ton of fun. And he kind of went off on a tangent a little bit afterwards. And he said, like, this is what I want to do as a studio's sake. But what I want to do personally also is he's got a lot of crafting, on his plate. He brings up the dyeing system with the color like I was talking about earlier. And this is where he vaguely brought up that he can't tell us yet, but there's something he wants to tell us. So again, I'm going to repeat myself for all you crafters out there. Here he is again talking about crafting and there's something coming up. So everyone just, stay tuned like I said earlier. All right, so that's going to do it for me today. Remember, there will be a test this weekend. Alpha, IT, and betas, I believe, will all be invited. Now, I'm not sure about the beta 1s versus the beta 2s, but I'm pretty sure the beta 1 should get an invite. Also, the weekly wrap-up for this week was about an hour. So as you can see, I did not cover everything, so I highly suggest you check it out. I'll post that link in the comment section below. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. If you'd like to get weekly updates, hit that subscribe button. I'll be doing this every week. If you're new to my channel, make sure you check out some of my older State of the Realm videos. I do my best to keep them under 10 minutes, and usually there are some really good questions players ask that involve gameplay. Thanks again, and I'll talk to y'all next week.